The night was quiet, too quiet for a world that was never meant to sleep. Far above the earth, in the cold darkness of space, a strange shape floated. It was not a star, not a satellite, but something alive. Inside the metal body of the alien ship, voices whispered in a language that no human could understand. Yet their meaning was clear. "They are weak," one alien muttered, his long, silver fingers tapping the surface of a glowing screen. "We have studied them for centuries. Their bodies are fragile, their emotions soft. They will not last long." Another alien, taller and sharper in form, leaned closer. His eyes glowed like red fire. "And now," he said, "we know the secret. We know how to end them." The chamber grew silent. A strange hum filled the air, as if the ship itself was holding its breath. The aliens believed they had finally uncovered the one truth that would make humans easy to kill. On Earth, the night passed like any other. In a busy city, lights glittered across tall buildings. Cars moved fast, people laughed in restaurants. Children ran across the streets without fear. They did not know that far above them, unseen eyes were watching every step they took. A young scientist, working late in a small lab, looked out the window. His face was tired, his eyes heavy. "Strange," he whispered to himself. "The stars look closer tonight." He didn't know why he said it. Maybe it was his mind playing tricks. Maybe it was the feeling that something out there was watching back. High above, the aliens made their decision. "It is time," one said. The ship shifted, and a sharp beam of light cut through space. It was not a weapon of fire or metal. It was something more silent, more dangerous. The beam targeted a single human walking across a street below. The man stopped suddenly. His body froze. He gasped for air, clutching his chest. People around him screamed, thinking it was a heart attack. But it wasn't. It was something else, something invisible. The aliens watched with cold smiles. "It works," one said. "The human falls exactly as we predicted. Their body is weak. Their organ fails. They will die easily." On the street, people shouted for help. The man lay still, his eyes wide with fear. An ambulance arrived, sirens echoing, but no one knew what had really happened. Only the aliens knew. Back in their ship, the red-eyed leader stood tall. "This is only the beginning. We will spread across their world. We will take them down, one by one. Soon, the humans will understand that we are the hunters, and they are the prey." But not all the aliens agreed. One of them, smaller and slower, tilted his head. "Are you certain?" "Humans, they are strange creatures. They survive things that should kill them. Disease, war, even themselves." "Perhaps silence," the leader hissed. His voice cut through the chamber like a blade. "Do not doubt. We have found the weakness. They cannot hide from us." The smaller alien fell quiet, but his eyes still flickered with unease. Meanwhile, on Earth, strange events began to spread. People collapsed in different cities. Some were young, some old, some perfectly healthy. No pattern made sense. Doctors scratched their heads. Leaders demanded answers. Fear grew like fire in dry grass. In one hospital, a nurse whispered to her colleague, "It's happening again. Just like the man last night. They say it's a new disease." The doctor shook his head. "No disease acts like this. Something else is happening." The patients lay still, some breathing, some not. Their families cried, unable to understand. Far away, in a hidden underground base, a small group of scientists gathered. The same young man who had stared at the stars now stood in front of a glowing screen. His voice was shaky, but steady enough to be heard. "This is no disease. This is an attack." The room went silent. One soldier frowned. "Attack from who?" The scientist looked up, his eyes heavy with fear. "Not from this world. Someone out there, They know us too well. They found something inside us. Something they can use to kill. The soldier slammed his fist on the table. If that's true, then we are finished. We cannot fight what we cannot see. But the scientist shook his head. No, they think they understand us. But humans are not that simple. They will learn. It too late. The soldier narrowed his eyes. You sound confident. The scientist whispered, because survival is in our blood. Even when everything says we should die, we find a way to live. At the same moment, in the alien ship, the red-eyed leader laughed. Look at them, running, crying, hiding. They do not even know who strikes them. Soon they will kneel before Wes. But the smaller alien, the one who had doubted, looked at the screen carefully. He saw something the others missed. A human had fallen, yes. But another human, standing right next to him, remained untouched. The same beam, the same strike, but no effect. His voice trembled as he spoke. Leader, not all of them fall. The leader snapped around. What are you saying? Look, the smaller alien pointed. Some survive. They resist. Why? The leader's red eyes narrowed. His smile faded. For the first time, doubt entered his mind. On Earth, the young scientist lifted his head toward the night sky. The stars seemed brighter now, sharper, almost alive. He whispered softly, as if speaking to the universe itself. You think you know us, but you don't. The world did not yet know the full danger. The aliens believed they had found the key to human destruction. But hidden beneath the fear and chaos, a truth was waiting to rise. A truth that would shock not only the aliens, but the entire galaxy. And so the game had begun. The city lights flickered as if the night itself felt nervous. People rushed across the streets, unaware that unseen eyes in the sky were watching. Inside the alien ship, the air buzzed with energy. The red-eyed leader stood tall before a glowing map of Earth. His voice was sharp and full of command. Begin the first wave, he ordered. Show them what true fear feels like. The aliens moved quickly, their long hands sliding across crystal screens. A beam of invisible light stretched from the ship, cutting silently into the city below. On the ground, a crowded train station was full of people waiting for the last ride of the night. A young woman laughed as she spoke into her phone. A man in a suit checked his watch. A child clutched a toy in his small hands. Then, without warning, 3 people collapsed at once. Screams broke out instantly. The woman dropped her phone and fell to the floor, gasping for breath. The man in the suit clutched his chest and crumpled. The child's toy rolled across the ground as his small body shook. Help, someone shouted. Call an ambulance. Chaos filled the station. People ran in every direction, unsure what was happening. No sound of gunfire, no sign of poison, nothing visible at all. Just sudden, brutal silence as 3 lives slipped away. High above, the aliens watched. It works, one whispered. Perfectly, the red-eyed leader smiled coldly. They will not even know who kills them. To them, it will feel like the hand of death itself. But the smaller alien in the back leaned forward, his glowing eyes scanning the feed. His voice was uncertain. Leader, look closely. The others around them. They are untouched. The leader turned. And what of it? We only need to kill enough. The rest will fall later. The smaller alien hesitated. But why only those 3? Why not all who stood in the beam? The leader ignored him. Back in the station, paramedics arrived, rushing through the panicked crowd. A young doctor bent over the woman, checking her pulse. His brow furrowed in confusion. This doesn't make sense, he muttered. Another medic shouted. Heart failure, 3 cases at once. The doctor shook his head. No, their hearts are fine. It's something else, something I don't understand. The woman's eyes opened suddenly. She gasped, whispering weakly. The light was inside me. Then she went still. Her words chilled everyone around her. In a government office nearby, alarm sounded. Reports flooded in, sudden collapses in multiple cities. Some lived, some died, no clear cause. The room was tense with fear. A general slammed his fist on the table. What is this? A new weapon? A disease? The young scientist from the underground base, the same one who had stared at the stars, was called into the meeting. He stood nervously before the leaders. "This is not a disease," he said firmly. "This is an attack from outside our world." The general glared. "You're saying aliens are killing our people?" The scientist nodded slowly. "Yes, they studied us. They found something in us, maybe a weakness. They're testing it now." The room fell silent. "Then how do we fight back?" One leader demanded. The scientist lowered his voice. "We don't even know how it works yet. But one thing is clear. They don't fully understand us either." The general frowned. "Explain." The scientist tapped on the reports. "Look, some die instantly. Others survive. Why? If this was a perfect weapon, all would fall. But they don't. That means humans are unpredictable." Meanwhile, in the alien ship, the red-eyed leader prepared. The second strike. "Target the hospital," he commanded. "Let them see there is no safety anywhere." The smaller alien hesitated. "Leader, permission to test differently. If they resist, we must learn why." The leader's eyes burned with rage. "Do not question me. They are insects. They cannot resist us." The beam fired again. In the hospital, patients suddenly screamed. Some collapsed instantly. Machines beeped loudly. Doctors rushed between rooms, confused and terrified. Yet in the middle of it all, one old man sat calmly in his bed. The beam struck him, but nothing happened. He only smiled faintly, whispering, "Not today." The doctors stared in shock. "He should be dead," one said. "But he's fine." The alien saw it too. The smaller alien whispered, "You see? Some cannot be killed. Why?" The leader's face twisted in anger. "Enough. They are fragile. We will break them." But even he could not ignore the image of the old man, alive when he should not be, on Earth. Fear spread like wildfire. News channels showed collapsing victims, crying families, doctors with no answers. People whispered in streets, "We're being hunted. Something out there is killing us." In a dark control room, the young scientist spoke into a recorder. His voice was steady now, stronger than before. "They think they have found our weakness, but they are wrong. What they see as weakness is only part of us. We adapt, we resist. They will learn that the hard way." Above the Earth, the red-eyed leader tightened his grip on the control desk. "Continue the tests," he ordered. "We will find the pattern. We will crush them." But the smaller alien's thoughts were elsewhere. He remembered the calm old man in the hospital. He remembered the humans who stood untouched while others fell. And in his mind, a dangerous idea grew. Perhaps humans were not prey. Perhaps humans were something else. The night grew heavier, the air charged with silent war. The aliens believed they were hunters. The humans feared they were victims. But deep within both sides, the world was no longer the same. Cities that once glowed with laughter and light now trembled with fear. People avoided crowded places. Schools closed, shops shut down, and streets grew empty. The attacks were invisible, silent, and unpredictable. In a small cafe, two friends sat in the corner, whispering as they watched the news on the screen above them. "Another collapse," one said, his voice shaking. "This time in Paris. 20 people gone, just like that." The other leaned closer, her hands trembling around a cup of coffee. "But why only some? Why not everyone in the same place?" No one had an answer. Across the world, leaders gathered. In hidden rooms, their faces pale with fear. Military generals slammed fists on tables. Scientists argued. and presidents begged for solutions. The mystery spread faster than fire. Who was killing humans, and how? Meanwhile, in the underground base, the young scientist stared at streams of data on glowing screens. His heart pounded as he traced each new collapse. "They're not random," he whispered. "They're tests. The same places. Cities, hospitals, markets. They're watching how we react." A soldier standing beside him frowned. "Tests? For what?" "To see how strong we are," the scientist replied. "To see if we break." The soldier's jaw tightened. "And are we?" The scientist looked at him with tired eyes. "Not yet. But fear is spreading. That's the real danger." On the alien ship, the red-eyed leader watched Earth with satisfaction. "Look at them," he said coldly. "They are afraid of shadows. They run from nothing. Fear will eat them before we do." The smaller alien, standing behind him, spoke carefully. "Leader, I must say this again. Not all fall to the beam. Some resist, some survive. Why?" The leader turned sharply, eyes glowing like fire. "Do you dare doubt our power?" The smaller alien lowered his head but kept his voice steady. "No, leader, but I see patterns. I see humans who should die, yet they do not. Perhaps their strength is more than we thought." The leader's laugh was sharp. "Strength? They are weak animals. Soon they will beg for mercy." But deep inside, even he wondered why the weapon was not perfect. Back on Earth, panic took hold. News channels showed endless footage of crying families, fallen victims, and confused doctors. Social media burned with fear. People wrote, "We are being hunted. The sky is killing us." In a dark apartment, a mother held her son close. The boy whispered, "Mama, will it take me too?" Her voice shook. "No, baby. I won't let it." But she knew she could not protect him from something she couldn't see. At the same time, the underground base grew louder with arguments. Leaders demanded weapons. Soldiers wanted answers. The young scientist raised his voice above the chaos. "Listen. This is not only about death. This is about fear. They are trying to break us inside. If we fall apart, they don't need to kill us. We will destroy ourselves." The general snapped. "Then tell us, scientist, how do we stop them?" The scientist's voice dropped lower, calm but firm. "We don't stop them with weapons. Not yet. We stop them by proving we cannot be broken." The room fell silent. That night, the attacks grew bolder. In one city, lights suddenly went out. People screamed in the dark. Then, flashes of collapse. Followed men, women, children. But once again, not everyone fell. Some stood frozen in terror, untouched. One survivor, a young woman, looked up at the sky with tears in her eyes. She shouted, "Is this all you can do?" Her voice was raw, filled with both fear and anger. Cameras caught her words. The video spread across the world. Millions watched her scream at the empty sky. Some cried. Some clenched their fists. For the first time, people felt something different from fear-defiance. In the alien ship, the smaller alien pointed at the footage. "Leader, do you see? They do not all break. Some fight back, some grow stronger." The leader narrowed his eyes. His smile faded. "Stronger? No, they are only desperate." But deep in his chest, unease began to grow. Back on Earth, the young scientist watched the same video. He felt a spark inside him. "This is it," he whispered. "This is our answer." A soldier beside him asked, "What do you mean?" "Look," the scientist said, pointing at the screen. "Fear is their weapon. But anger, courage, defiance, that is ours. They don't understand it. They don't understand us." The soldier's eyes hardened. "So we fight back, not just with weapons, but with will." The scientist nodded. "Exactly. If they see we will not break, their weapon loses power." The next day, something unexpected happened. People across the world began gathering. Not to hide, but to stand together. In New York, crowds filled the streets with candles. In Tokyo, thousands sang songs in unison. In Cairo, families walked hand in hand, refusing to run. The attacks came. Again, beams struck. Some fell, but others stayed standing, eyes burning with resistance. And the world saw it. The aliens watched too. The smaller one whispered, "They do not fear us as much anymore. They adapt." The red-eyed leader clenched his fists. His voice was a growl. "Then we must strike harder. Break them before it is too late." But the smaller alien's heart was heavy. He could not shake the image of humans standing tall, defying the sky itself. He thought to himself, maybe they are not prey. Maybe they are something more. The war of fear was shifting. The aliens wanted humanity to collapse under invisible death. But instead, a spark of unity had begun to spread. And in that spark was the seed of something the aliens had never expected: hope. The underground base was silent except for the soft hum of machines. The young scientist leaned over a table covered with reports. His eyes were heavy, but his mind raced faster than ever. For days he had studied the strange pattern of deaths. Looking for answers. At last he whispered to himself, "It doesn't add up. Why some fall and some don't?" A soldier standing nearby stepped closer. "What are you saying?" The scientist lifted one of the reports. "Look at this. Same attack, same beam, but half the people survived. The aliens don't understand. Why? And maybe neither do we. But there is something they missed." The soldier frowned. "Something about us?" "Yes," the scientist said firmly. "Something hidden in human biology. We are not all the same. Our bodies adapt, change, and resist in ways they cannot predict." The soldier shook his head. "So they thought they found our weakness." The scientist finished the sentence quietly. "But it is not the same for everyone. What kills? One may leave another untouched." Across the ocean, in a crowded hospital, doctors had noticed the same mystery. Patients who should have died walked out alive. Nurses whispered in confusion. One old doctor leaned over his desk and muttered, "They don't understand the human body. They think it's simple, but it's not." Meanwhile, the alien ship floated silently above Earth. The red-eyed leader stood tall, glaring at the glowing screens that showed human cities. "Our weapon should work. Why do some resist?" The smaller alien stepped forward cautiously. "Leader, it is as I said before. Humans are not uniform. They are unpredictable," the leader hissed. "Then we will test harder. We will find the weakness that holds true for all." But the smaller alien's eyes flickered with doubt. He remembered the calm old man who survived. He remembered the crowd standing in defiance. And now he wondered if the humans were far more dangerous than the leader believed. Back on Earth, panic still spread, but alongside it grew questions. A woman in a news interview shouted at the camera, "My brother died. I was standing right next to him, but nothing touched me. Why him, not me?" Her words echoed across the world. People demanded answers. Fear mixed with confusion, and confusion turned into anger. In the underground base, the scientist knew the truth had to be spoken. He gathered the generals and leaders. His voice was calm but filled with urgency. "They don't know us," he said. "They think they found the key to kill us, but they don't understand how different we are. They are trying to fit us into a single pattern. But humans are not a single pattern." One general leaned forward. "You mean we have no single weakness?" The scientist nodded. "Exactly. They cannot predict who will fall and who will live. To them, it looks like chaos, but to us, it is survival." The generals exchanged uneasy glances. "So what do we do with this knowledge?" The scientist's voice grew stronger. "We use it. We let them believe they are close, while we prepare, because the moment they realize their mistake will be the moment they hesitate. And hesitation is when we strike back." Far above, the alien leader prepared another wave. His eyes glowed with fury. They resist, but only for now. We will strike their leaders, cut off their heads, and the body will fall." The smaller alien's voice was quiet but steady. "And if their leaders survive, what then?" The leader turned sharply. "Enough of your doubts. You speak like you admire them." The smaller alien lowered his head, hiding the truth in his eyes. He did admire them. Their will, their unpredictability, their refusal to collapse completely, it unsettled him, but also impressed him. On Earth, another strange event shook the people. In a town struck by the beam, a child survived while every adult around him collapsed. The boy later said softly, "It felt like something touched me, but then it left, like it couldn't decide." The news spread everywhere. Scientists rushed to study him, governments demanded answers, and the world began to see a new possibility. Maybe the aliens weren't as powerful as they seemed. The young scientist in the underground base smiled faintly when he read the report. "They are learning too late," he whispered. "Humans are not that simple." A soldier beside him asked, "So what's our next move?" The scientist's eyes hardened. "We prepare our reply. Not in panic, but in strength. They think they control the game. Soon they'll see they don't." The alien leader, unaware of how close he was to losing control, stared at Earth. His voice was cold as ice. "We will kill them all, no matter how long it takes." But the smaller alien thought silently to himself, "What if we can't? What if they are the ones who will kill us?" The truth was spreading quietly, like fire hidden beneath ash. Humans were not weak. They were not predictable. The aliens had mistaken complexity for fragility. And now, both sides were about to face a revelation that would change the war forever. The hidden truth was clear. Humanity was not easy prey. And soon, the aliens would learn that the hardest enemy to defeat is the one you can never fully understand. The underground base buzzed with restless energy. Soldiers marched through narrow halls, their boots heavy on the floor. Scientists bent over screens, whispering in urgent voices. Everyone knew the world was standing on the edge of something dangerous. In the command room, the young scientist stood before a group of generals and leaders. His voice was steady, though his heart raced. "They believe they control us," he said. "But we know the truth now. Their weapon is not perfect. They think fear will break us, but fear is not the end. It can also become strength." The general leaned back, crossing his arms. "You're saying we should send them a message?" "Yes," the scientist replied. "If we stay silent, they will believe we are helpless. But if we reply, if we show them we are not afraid, it changes everything." A soldier frowned. "What kind of reply? Guns? Rockets?" "We can't even reach them." The scientist shook his head. "Not weapons, words. A message that tells them they are wrong about us." The room fell quiet. Some looked doubtful. Others looked hopeful. At last, the general nodded slowly. "Then, prepare the message. Let the whole world hear it." That night, the world held its breath. Screens in homes, cities, and shelters flickered on. The young scientist appeared, his face pale but his eyes sharp. He spoke not only to humans, but also to the unseen watchers above. "You think you know us," he said firmly. "You studied us. You think you found our weakness. But you are wrong. Humans are not simple. We do not all break the same way. We survive, we adapt. And when you believe we are finished, that is when we rise." His words echoed across the world. Families huddled together to listen. Soldiers stood tall. Children stared wide-eyed at the screen. The scientist leaned closer to the camera. "So here is our reply. We will not kneel. We will not surrender. You may kill some of us, but never all. And we are watching you too." The broadcast ended. For a long moment, silence filled the earth. Then slowly, people began to cheer. In cities and towns, in homes and shelters, voices rose in unity. It was not just a reply to aliens, it was a reply to fear itself. Far above, in the alien ship, the red-eyed leader's face twisted in anger. How dare they speak to us like this? His voice thundered through the chamber. They are insects. Insects do not speak back to their masters. But the smaller alien's eyes glowed with something like respect. Leader, their words. They are not afraid. Perhaps we underestimated them. The leader snapped around, fury burning in his gaze. Silence. They are bluffing. They are weak, dying creatures. Words do not change that. Still, doubt crept into the room. Some of the aliens shifted uneasily, remembering the humans who stood untouched under the beam, remembering the crowds who defied the sky. On Earth, the message spread like fire. Posters went up with the words, "We will not kneel." People painted the phrase on walls, shouted it in the streets, whispered it in their homes. In one city, when the beam struck again, people did not run. They stood together, holding hands, staring up at the sky. Some fell, but others remained, and the sight was broadcast across the world. The image was powerful humans refusing to bow even while death hovered above them. In the base, the scientist watched the footage, his heart pounding. "This is it," he whispered. "This is how we fight back." A soldier at his side clenched his fist. "If they want war, we'll give them war. Not just with weapons, but with will." Meanwhile, in the alien ship, the smaller alien finally dared to speak his thoughts aloud. "Leader, their reply is dangerous. It is not only words, it is unity. If they cannot be broken, then how do we win?" The leader's eyes flared red with fury. "We win by crushing them before their unity spreads further. Prepare the next strike." The smaller alien said nothing more, but in his heart, he felt the weight of a truth too heavy to ignore. Humans were not prey. They were something far more unpredictable. Back on Earth, the young scientist received a private message from an unknown source. It was a transmission, faint but clear. His eyes widened as he read it. The soldier beside him noticed his shock. "What is it?" The scientist whispered, almost in disbelief, "It's from them." The soldier frowned. "From who? The aliens?" The scientist nodded slowly. On the screen, strange symbols glowed, but he understood the meaning. It was a single question. "Why do you not fear us?" The scientist stared at the words for a long moment. Then he smiled faintly and whispered, "Because you don't understand us." He leaned forward, typing his reply carefully. "Fear is not all we have. We also have hope. And hope is something you will never kill." The message was sent. Far above, the smaller alien read it. His heart shook. For the first time in his life, he felt something new. Not anger, not pride, but fear, because he realized the humans were right. They were not broken. They were rising, and their reply had only just begun. The world had changed. After the message, humans no longer hid in silence. They stood taller, their fear turning into defiance. But the aliens were not finished. Above the Earth, their ships glowed like burning stars, preparing for the next strike. In the underground base, the young scientist studied the alien reply again. "Why do you not fear us?" The words repeated in his mind like a riddle. He paced back and forth, muttering under his breath. "They want to know why," he whispered. "If they are asking, then they are uncertain. That means we have a chance." The soldier beside him crossed his arms. "A chance? They have weapons that can wipe out a city in minutes. What chance do we have against that?" The scientist turned sharply. "The chance to fight back with something they don't understand. They see our bodies as weak, but they do not understand our minds, our hearts, our unity." The general entered the room, his face grim. "Their ships are moving again. They are preparing another attack. If we don't act now, cities will fall." The scientist clenched his fists. "Then we strike first." The room went silent. Soldiers and scientists exchanged nervous glances. Finally, one of the commanders asked, "Strike? With what? We have no weapons strong enough to reach them." The scientist's voice lowered. Almost secretive. "Not weapons, information. We hacked into one of their lower signals last night. It was faint, but I traced it. Their system is vast, but not unbreakable. If we can send a signal back, not of fear, but of corruption, we can disrupt them." The soldier frowned. "You're saying we use their own communication against them?" "Yes," the scientist replied. "If their network collapses, their ships won't coordinate. They will be blind." The general slammed his fist on the table. "Do it. Whatever chance we have, we take it now." Hours later, the base was alive with frantic movement. Computers buzzed. Engineers shouted commands. The scientist sat before the main console, sweat dripping down his forehead as he typed furiously. "Connection stable." One technician called out. "Encryption active," another replied. The scientist's fingers danced over the keys. Almost there. Just a few more seconds. Suddenly, the console flashed red. Alarms blared. The soldier leaned forward. "What happened?" "They know," the scientist muttered. His heart pounded. "They caught us." In the alien ship. Above, the leader's eyes glowed with fury. "They dare to touch our systems? Crush them, erase them from existence." The smaller alien stepped forward. "Leader, wait. If they can enter our network, it means they are learning. Destroying. Them now may not stop the spread." "Perhaps silence," the leader roared. "Prepare the beam. This time we erase their strongest base." On Earth, the ground trembled as the sky lit up with a deadly red glow. The soldier grabbed the scientist's shoulder. "There. Targeting us. If you don't finish now, we're dead." The scientist's hands shook, but he kept typing. Almost. The glow above grew brighter. People in the base stared up at the ceiling as dust fell from the walls. Some whispered prayers. Others clenched their teeth in silence. Then suddenly, the console flashed green. The scientist shouted, "Done!" He slammed the final key. For a second, nothing happened. The beam above charged. Brighter and brighter. The soldier yelled, "It's too late," but then the red light flickered. The beam stuttered. The alien ship trembled in the sky, its systems glitching. Across the planet, other ships wavered. Their lights sputtering like dying flames in the alien command chamber. The leader's voice roared in anger. "What have they done?" The smaller alien's eyes widened. "They infected our network. They used our own strength against us." The leader's face twisted in rage. "Impossible. They are nothing compared to us." But deep inside he felt something he had never felt before. Doubt on Earth. Cheers erupted in the base. Soldiers hugged each other. Technicians clapped and cried. The general grinned for the first time in days. "We did it," the soldier whispered, staring at the flickering sky. "We actually stopped them." But the scientist shook his head. His face was pale, his voice low. "No, we didn't stop them. We only slowed them. They'll repair their systems. They'll come back stronger." The soldier frowned. "Then what do we do?" The scientist looked around the room, his eyes burning with determination. "We prepare for the next step. We can't just defend anymore. We have to fight back, not only with words, not only with hacks, but with everything we have." Far above, in the alien ship, the smaller alien stood in silence as chaos filled the chamber. He remembered the human's message. Hope is something. You will never kill. He whispered to himself. Maybe they are right. Maybe hope is more dangerous than any weapon. The leader turned, his voice like thunder. "Find the human who dares to resist us. Bring him to me alive. I want him to see what happens when insects challenge gods." The smaller alien bowed. Hiding the conflict in his eyes, he did not move quickly. For the first time, He wasn't sure if the humans deserved destruction or survival. On Earth, the scientist stared at the sky, the broken ships glowing faintly in the darkness. He whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning." And deep inside, he knew the counterattack had truly begun. The sky over Earth burned with broken lights. Alien ships still hovered above, damaged but not destroyed. Humanity had bought time, but the war was far from over. Deep underground, the base buzzed with tension. Everyone knew the aliens would return. The scientist sat at the console, his hands shaking slightly. He stared at the screen where alien code still glitched and flickered. The soldier stood beside him, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the ceiling as if he could see through the rock above. "They're repairing," the scientist whispered. "It won't take long. When they recover, they'll come with everything they have." The soldier's jaw tightened. "Then we don't wait for them. We finish this before they strike again." The general entered the room, his boots echoing on the floor. "Scouts report some alien ships are falling back, but one massive ship still hovers above the planet. Their command vessel. Destroy that, and the rest will scatter." The room went silent. Destroy their command vessel? It sounded impossible. Yet everyone's eyes turned to the scientist. He looked pale but determined. "If we send the virus directly into their core, it won't just slow them. It will collapse their whole system." "But," he hesitated. "But what?" The soldier pressed. The scientist's voice dropped. "The signal has to be sent from inside the ship, from their heart." The soldier stepped forward without hesitation. "Then I'll go." The scientist's head snapped toward him. "No. You don't understand. It's not just about sneaking in. Their defenses are beyond anything we've seen. Whoever goes might not come back." The soldier gave a grim smile. "Then it sounds like my job." The general slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. We don't have time to argue. Prepare a craft. We'll send a team. Small, fast, and quiet. This is our only chance." Hours later, the launch bay roared to life. A small shuttle sat ready, its engines humming. The soldier tightened his armor while the scientist loaded the virus program into a small device. He handed it over with trembling hands. This is everything," the scientist said. "Insert it into their central core, and it will spread through their entire system. But if you fail..." His voice broke. The soldier took the device and slipped it into his armor. "Then Earth falls, don't worry. I won't fail." The scientist stared at him, his chest heavy with unspoken words. Finally he whispered, "Come back alive." The shuttle lifted off, vanishing into the dark sky. Silence filled the base as everyone watched the screen showing its progress. High above, the alien command ship glowed like a black star. Inside, the alien leader paced furiously. "They dare resist us. They dare wound us. When I am done, there will be no Earth, no humans, no memory of them at all." The smaller alien stood quietly at the edge of the chamber. He remembered the humans. Strange courage, their unbroken hope. Something stirred inside him, something the leader would call weakness. He lowered his head, hiding his thoughts. The shuttle slipped through shadows, avoiding patrol beams. The soldier gripped the controls, his face set like stone. Suddenly, alarms blared inside the alien ship. Beams of light cut through the dark. "They've spotted us," the soldier shouted. He pushed the shuttle hard, weaving between glowing towers of metal. Explosions lit up the void. Finally, with a crash, the shuttle rammed into a hidden dock. The soldier leaped out, weapon ready. Alien guards rushed forward, their eyes burning with cold fire. Blades of energy clashed with steel as the soldier fought. Sparks flew, echoes of battle filling the halls. He cut his way through, one step at a time, toward the core. Meanwhile, in the base below, the scientist gripped the table so hard his knuckles turned white. Signals weakening. He's inside, but oh no, "What is it?" the general asked. "They've locked the core chamber. He won't reach it in time." The soldier panted as he stood before a massive sealed door. He slammed his fist against it. "Open, damn it!" And then a shadow moved. The smaller alien stepped forward. The soldier froze, raising his weapon. "You—" The alien raised his hand slowly. "I am not here to stop you." The soldier narrowed his eyes. "Why should I believe that?" The alien's voice was calm, almost weary. "Because I have seen what you are. You fight without fear. You fight with hope. My leader believes hope is weakness, but I see now. It is strength. Take this." He pressed a hand against the door, and it slid open with a hiss. The soldier hesitated for a heartbeat, then lowered his weapon. "Why are you helping us?" The alien's eyes glowed faintly. "Because if we destroy you, we destroy something greater than ourselves." The soldier rushed past him, entering the core chamber. At its center pulsed a massive sphere of light, the heart of the ship. He pulled out the device, his hands shaking. "This is it." Alarms screamed. The alien leader's voice thundered across the chamber. "You dare defile my core?" The walls shook. The sphere flared with power. The soldier shouted, "For Earth!" and slammed the device into the console. The light spread instantly. Sparks erupted. The walls cracked. The ship trembled as the virus raced through its veins. On Earth, the base erupted with cheers as alien ships flickered, faltered, and fell from the sky like dying stars out in the core. The leader screamed, "No! This cannot be!" His form burned in the collapsing light. The smaller alien stood at the doorway, watching the destruction. For the first time in his life, he felt peace. The soldier turned, breathing hard. "It's done. Let's get out." But the core erupted in fire. The blast hurled him to the ground. He struggled up, coughing. The smaller alien reached out a hand. "Come, this way." Together, they ran as the ship tore itself apart. At the last moment, they dove into an escape pod. The fire consumed everything. Behind them, the pod shot out into the night sky, falling toward Earth. Inside, the soldier lay back, exhausted. He looked at the alien beside him. "You saved me," he said weakly. The alien gave a faint smile. "No, you saved us all." The pod streaked across the sky like a burning star. Below, people looked up and cheered, believing it was a sign. When it landed, the soldier stumbled out, alive. The scientist rushed forward, tears in his eyes. "You came back." The soldier smiled faintly. "Told you I would." The alien stepped out beside him. Silence fell as soldiers raised their weapons. But the soldier raised a hand. "He's not our enemy." "Not anymore." The general stared at the alien, then slowly lowered his weapon. One by one, the others followed. The scientist whispered, "Then maybe this is the beginning of peace." Above, the alien fleet burned and scattered. Earth stood free at last. And for the first time, hope shone brighter than fear.